So our next presenter is actually, she went through the process, she's a doctor. It's Amal Obaid-Schmid, MD. Dr. Amal. Everyone give Dr. Amal a round of applause. Dr. Amal is going to be talking to us about AI and how AI and technology are transforming modern medicine. Okay, so why don't you introduce yourself while I get your presentation set up?
Good evening, everyone. I want to start by saying I want a cool name like Vox because my name is very hard to remember. So I'm going to hit you up later for some suggestions. Medical school is becoming a doctor is 8 years, but I'm a surgeon by training, so that took an additional 6 years. So a year sounds like very reasonable to me. But I'm new to Henderson. I'm actually a California native. Came here at the age of 4 from the Middle East and had stayed in California for 20 years plus, actually. Actually, I'm forgetting my own age. So I got there at age of 4, and I stayed there till now. So I won't tell you how many years that is, but a long time. And the reason I'm in Henderson is because before I get into that, how do y'all think healthcare is in Nevada? Good or bad? So out of 50 states, where do you think Nevada ranks? 41. And I come from California. California ranks 6. So 6. California is 6. And my husband and I visited Vegas quite a bit. We love Vegas for a variety of reasons. Mine is namely shopping. My husband's is sports and poker. So we came here, we met a variety of people, and we kept hearing about 2 things that are really bad in Nevada. One is healthcare. Can you guess what the second is? Education, exactly. And we met some really great people here and talked about it a lot. A lot of people came to me and said, hey, I really need a good oncologist or a good cardiologist, but to get one here in Nevada is incredibly a very long wait, up to months. And can you help me out? And I said, absolutely. You know, I work at a big hospital and I can get you in. So this is me. Yeah, I'm a trauma surgeon, actually, by training, trauma and general surgery, and I'm also board certified in surgical critical care. So I do it all. And I said to my husband, who was really the main reason we decided to come out here, that, you know, I can't impact education, but I can definitely impact healthcare. So it's a large feat to go from 41 to 6, a huge feat, right? But I think it starts with getting people out here or finding ways to sort of bridge the gap. Can anyone guess why healthcare is so bad out here?
Reciprocity.
Okay. Okay.
Transient.
Okay.
Reimbursement rates.
Okay.
Money.
Be more specific.
Okay. The retention is better. I've seen it in Delaware because
The-
Delaware has the same issue.
The biggest issue is that you can't get good doctors to come out here. That's the problem. How do you get good, qualified physicians to come and deliver that excellent health care? It's hard to recruit those physicians. So that being said, I said, okay, I've sort of reached the top of the ladder at my institution. I'm actually the chief of staff elect at Huntington Hospital. Has anyone heard of Huntington in Pasadena? It's a Cedars-Sinai affiliate. I became chief of trauma at a very young stage in my career. In fact, I was only a couple years out as an attending after those 14 years. And I said, you know, I've kind of done everything I set out to do, and I'm still fairly young. You know, I still have some energy in me. I want to do something good. And so my husband and I took this on. And that's where Elite Rapid Care was born, which is our facility in Henderson. We have one goal, and that's to really elevate the healthcare here. It's going to start with a small facility. It's not that small, but it's about 6,000 square feet in Henderson. And we're going to start with that, and our goal is to expand that and to really sort of find ways to bridge those gaps in creative ways. And I think the talk tonight is very relevant because it allows you to sort of bridge that gap without overcoming that huge feat of getting all the good doctors to come out here. Can anyone guess which state is number one? Good job. Massachusetts, where Harvard is, yeah? Okay, so technology affects everything, right? And so does AI. And healthcare is no different, right? And so there's a variety of things that are happening on the medicine, on the healthcare side to affect these. And they're precision medicine, AI-powered diagnostics, robotic surgery. I'm sure most people have heard of robotic surgery. Predictive analytics, telemedicine, wearables, and health monitoring, and a variety of other modalities. So, what is precision medicine? Precision medicine is basically using AI to sort of look at an individual, not just treating everyone in the room with the same drug, for example. So if you have high blood pressure and I put you on a medicine, you may not respond the same way that she does, right? Why? Because you have different genetic makeup, you have different lifestyle factors that might play a role, etc. So what this is using all these things, putting them into a sort of AI-fed algorithm, and also looking at the individual factors and teaching the AI to use the treatment that's specific to you. And it won't be the same necessarily as it would be for you, if that makes sense. And if I lose anyone, I'm a doctor, I apologize. I tend to get really detailed. Please stop me and ask me questions. But this is a huge factor. This is actually drawing your blood, putting it through some analytics to say what your genetic makeup is, using that plus looking at your lifestyle factors, environmental factors, etc., and saying, okay, I'm going to treat you this way with this medication or this procedure or this therapy, immune therapy, etc.
Hold the mic to you now so you can hear.
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm so sorry. Apologies. I'll try to hold it closer. Diagnostics. AI is very strong in diagnostics, and it's very interesting, but apparently machines or AI technology do a better job than humans at reading imaging. Some things are just not so obvious to the human eye the way they are to a machine, which is very fascinating to me. And an example would be detection of very early disease, right? Before it's obvious. We can all see a big mass in the brain and go, oh, that's abnormal. It's the smaller, more subtle things that we don't necessarily see. And that's where AI is the future of medicine. It's gonna not just be in diagnostics like CAT scans or MRIs, but also in tissue. So when you have a tumor or mass, for example, and that tumor is biopsied, when you look at it with the naked eye and with various stains under a microscope, you and I can see the obvious things, but we may not see the subtle things. And that's very promising. Okay? It's also very popular in cardiology. In the past, we used to think of an EKG as just telling us about the heart. Where AI is going is using an EKG to predict other diseases that have nothing to do with the heart, like kidney disease or brain disease, or even predicting the likelihood of someone having a stroke. So it's very fascinating, and the implications will be huge. Again, it's pattern recognition. Is there someone in the room that has not used any kind of AI mechanism? Everyone's used ChatGPT, right? Has anyone not? Don't admit it. Fair. I always know when an email was generated by ChatGPT, just in all fairness. It's so perfectly written, right? Much better than I can write, right? And that's just a reality, is if you feed enough information into it, the outcome's going to be great because it's pattern recognition, it's structure, you give it rules. It all basically sort of boils down to mathematics. Everything is an equation, right? Everything in life, when you think about it, chemistry is mathematics, biology is mathematics. I don't know about government contracting though, is it? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, a lot of very, very exciting things. Robotic surgery. Has anyone had robotic surgery that they're willing to share? Okay, great. So robotic surgery is awesome. Having done a few myself, again, I'm a trauma surgeon, so there's not a lot of time to dock a robot when someone's bleeding to death, right? So not so much in trauma, but I have done a few cases. Robotics is basically taking technology to a whole nother level. So the premise of robotics is to perform highly detailed surgery with the tiniest of incisions. I hope your incisions are small.
Super small.
Very small. What robotics is it allows you to make these tiny holes, put these instruments, and then have the most amazing optics. You can magnify the tissues to the point where you can almost see the red blood cells going through your veins. It's incredible. In addition to that, it allows a dexterity far from where you are. So if I'm here and I'm at a console, I don't even have to be at the patient. I could be standing here and the operating room table is there where the patient is, and I'm performing the surgery here. And that's why it's called robotics. So it's really great and it's amazing. It allows you to do highly technical surgery with extreme precision, with very small incisions, with much better chances of preventing complications. Patients get out of the hospital faster. They have a lot less pain because the incisions are smaller. All the complications that come with a big surgery are eliminated. And it's fascinating. The more fascinating thing to me, and I think is relevant to why we wound up here in Nevada, is imagine I'm in Henderson and I perform a surgery on a patient in Tanzania. Does that seem reasonable, like something I could accomplish? No. Not yet, but it's coming. It's coming. I can do the surgery here. I can have the surgeon in Tanzania sitting with the patient. I can control the console, just like I'm standing here and I'm operating there on that patient. I can do the same. This is coming. It's not sci-fi or Hollywood or anything. This is real. This is coming. And the reason why that's so important is because access, right? We talked about how it's so hard to recruit good doctors. Well, maybe that's not going to be necessary anymore. Maybe we can bridge that gap by doing things like this. I think I saw a hand up.
Yeah, my question was, you were talking about standing here and doing the surgery there. A lot of the questions I have about robotic surgery are the current, robots physically performing the surgery. Is that something you currently find yourself doing often, is utilizing a surgical robot and controlling it?
Yes, we do that every day.
Oh, okay, so that is common.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're in close proximity right now.
Yeah,
the future is going to be across oceans. That's the future, and it's coming, and it's real. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it over oceans, how are you going to deal with latency?
So the key is to have a surgeon there that I can direct, right? So that surgeon has to have basic abilities to deal with any complications, if I heard your question correctly.
Yeah, because any signal over any distance is going to have latency.
Again, it's coming. I promise you, it's coming. It's not fine-tuned, and that's why it's not happening yet. But that is the future of medicine. That is the future.
Technology doesn't exist to get rid of latency.
I'm not an IT person, but I'm telling you, in the world of surgery, it's active. It's going to happen. Think of things that we said would never happen 20 years ago and that happen now. When it happens, I don't know. And how to overcome that, I'm not an IT person. I don't know anything about how they're going to accomplish it, but I can tell you that it is the future. Yes.
Is the Tanzanian doctor going to be actually doing the cutting or whatever?
Yes.
they do?
Yes. So they would. So the way that looks.
Like a camera and everything.
So the way that looks, the patient's on the table. The Tanzania doctor will make the small incisions and put in the trocars and dock the robot. Have you ever seen the actual robot? You have, but yeah. So it's gorgeous. It's amazing. It has these arms that articulate better than the human hand. It is better than a human hand. It can articulate that way. So the surgeon in Tanzania would make those incisions, would put the trocars in, would dock the robots with the instruments. The console tells those things that the actual arms tells it what to do.
So why do they even need the Tanzanian doctor?
Because let's say something goes awry and I'm here and the patient's in Tanzania. You need to have that as a safety backup. You always need a person there. You will always need that. And how would I make the incisions exactly without someone there?
Just to help you doctor with the precision thing, the precision of the Da Vinci machine is around 0.1 micron. Even the best surgeon is about 100 to 200 times less accurate than the Da Vinci machine.
The dexterity you get with the robot is not comparable to the human hand. So you see my hand can only do this and this and that. The robot can do it in 2 simultaneous directions. So it can move this way, it can move this way, it can move that way. It's incredible.
Yeah, so I think one thing that's being missed here is the AI aspect of it, which kind of goes to your latency question, because it's a matter of making the decision. It's a reasoning engine. So you give it a command, and it executes that command. It doesn't matter if it's across oceans, because the direction of AI is growing with robotics. So if you say, like for example, if you have a master doctor like we have here, who's training this robot to execute a command, that's what's going to happen. So the latency isn't so much a factor because we're growing past that, if that makes sense.
Now, how are you going to get the signal from A to B faster?
It's not a, it's,
a second speed of light goes about a second around the world. So not even that, it's like half a second. So it's not really not significant.
No. The concept is different. It's, you don't tell, like, move, like, 2 millimeters this way, 3 millimeters that way. You just tell the machine, remove the tumor.
Right.
It does everything else.
Exactly.
It will analyze the tissue around it, make a precise movement. It will recognize the healthy tissue versus the cropped tissue, and then it will make its own decisions what to take off. So there is no latency there. It's not like an airplane. It's like an autopilot on the airplane. Old airplanes, new 787, you can turn on the airplane, literally the autopilot 1 minute after takeoff. It's the same thing with this machine. Right? You just tell it, remove the tumor, and it will just do it.
I love how intelligent you guys are, very techy, and it's very cool. Very different from what I do, but thank you for that. Okay. The most exciting thing in my mind is not diagnosing disease, but diagnosing disease before it happens, and that's also very exciting. So what that is looking at patterns of what comes before the actual onset of the disease and using that to predict it. This is a big thing in terms of diagnosing things like stroke, heart attack, Alzheimer's disease, all of that stuff. The goal is to have AI feed it, all the information so that those patterns can get identified early, right? Because prevention and early detection are much more effective than actual treatment later on in a disease process, and so that's very fascinating as well. The other thing that AI is doing is analyzing the electronic health records of patients and looking for patterns there. and using that information to say, oh, well, so in patients in this age group with this X, Y, and Z, that's going to be predictive of a future problem with the liver or the kidneys and things like that. This is kind of the same thing. So predicting strokes, heart attacks, cancer. Cancer is always a big one, right? Lung cancer, breast cancer, before you palpate a mass, before you can see it on a mammogram, before you can see it on an ultrasound or an MRI. And then mental health, which I'll get into in just a second, is also going to be a potential impact for AI help in diagnosing things early. Telemedicine is great. I think when we started Elite Rapid Care, I think we realized that it was going to be hard to get those consultants for our patients. So what we've done is we've established the ability of our Henderson patients to have California doctors see them right away via telehealth, especially subspecialists, so you don't have to wait 3 and 4 and 5 months. Ooh, I think something happened. Apologies. Yeah. I think I talked too long, perhaps.
No, there you go. It should be coming back up. Yeah, there we go. It's booting up.
So again, you know, access is a big, big problem, not just in Nevada, but other places.
There you go. Got the control. 1 second.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Should come back up. There you go.
So having that access is not an easy thing to bridge, and so having access to those high-level doctors for our Henderson residents is a big plus. The other thing that's coming and is already there, I'm not sure, I guess most people have an Apple Watch, I'm guessing. But have you ever had any signals on your Apple Watch for abnormal heartbeats or stuff like that? So that's also a big thing. So wearable devices, things that will predict things for you early. And then, again, checking symptoms, virtual health assistance, special access, personalized care. One of the big down things in medicine and why physician burnout is so high and there's a risk of having a shortage of doctors. Can anyone guess?
Overworking?
Say again?
Overworking doctors?
Be more specific, you're correct.
Sometimes they have.
But why? Why are they burning out?
16, 18-hour shifts.
But why?
There's not enough money.
What changed? What changed for the doctor?
Administrative burden?
Yes, be more specific.
Insurance.
Playing around with the electronic medical record?
That's a big one. So all the administrative responsibilities on me, it's not just seeing Mrs. Smith in the office or in consultation for 20 minutes. Guess what I have to do once Mrs. Smith leaves? I have to call the insurance. I have to get a pre-authorization. I have to dictate, whatever I discussed with her. I have to order her labs. I have to order her medicines. AI can bridge that. In fact, at Elite Rapid Care, we actually use an AI device called CommureScribe. Has anyone heard of it? CommureScribe has made my life better, and I'll tell you why. I go in with my iPhone, and I sit with Mrs. Smith, and I press record, and she and I just talk like physicians and patients used to, where I'm actually making eye contact with you. I'm not on my laptop charting away and hearing half of what you say, and the other half I don't hear. My phone is recording our entire conversation. Not only is it recording that entire conversation, it's transcribing it in a smart way. So it's eliminating the fluff, if you will, of the conversation and condensing it into clinically relevant information. In addition to that, it's also making suggestions or differential diagnoses, as they're called. And what that means is the AI tool is saying, Mrs. Smith has X, Y, and Z symptoms. The things you need to be concerned about for Mrs. Smith are high blood pressure, diabetes, and it makes all these recommendations. And then, on top of that, it gives me all my billing codes. So I don't have to spend an extra 20 minutes looking up all what I need to bill for the patient. So it's really sort of a step in the right direction and sort of restoring that doctor-patient relationship, which is very, very important. When you're sick and you're vulnerable, do you want me to be at my laptop? No. Or do you want me to actually hear you and listen to you and look in your eyes and understand who you are, not just in this moment, but what is your home situation? Do you have a spouse? Do you have children? Do you have a job? What are your financial stressors? What's going on with you? Because all that matters, actually, in your actual outcome.
So I have a question. Watching a few friends, and now my husband has stage 4 cancer prostate because the doctor could not detect it. Okay, and it's spreading all over his body. Is your center going to be like to analyze your body early? Are you telling me this new center in Henderson, okay, is going to be able to analyze one? Because the doctors now are like cattle. You're in and out. You're in and out. So what is your center going to be able to do, like to bring good doctors in? We have a shortage of doctors. So what is your center? Is it going to analyze and detect this stuff early?
That's an excellent question. So I would answer that by saying we're going to do everything we can. I think that the thing that's different about our center, AI isn't quite where we want it to be, so I could make predictions 100% of the time. But that's the future of medicine. The one thing I can promise is that A, I have experience, and B, I won't be in a rush. So I'm going to take the time to see the patient, understand the patient, and do the necessary follow-up, okay? Because my goal is not to, get you in and out. It's not a numbers game at Elite Rapid Care. I know it's a numbers game for a lot of practices, but like I said, I've already done all that. I'm 20 years out. I'm not a brand new doctor, and I actually want to do something more philanthropic and good for humanity. That's my goal, is to improve that. I will tell you that a lot of misdiagnoses happen here, and I'm shocked by it. I had a child that came in, because we do adult and pediatric, I had a child come in that came in with 11 ear infections in a year. That is not normal. That is not normal. But here's the kicker. Not only did that kid probably not have 11 ear infections, that kid was erroneously treated with steroids, which does the opposite of treat infection. It actually makes infection worse. And I felt so terrible for that child and that mom. And I said to myself, how does this happen? I've never seen that happen in California. So again, AI and the future of medicine is not what I'm promising here. I'm letting you guys know how AI is going to impact healthcare in the future, and I'm here sort of just to introduce you to the future of medicine in relationship to technology. A lot of this stuff is already happening, but a lot of it hasn't happened yet. But I will say that quality of care is what I will promise you. I promise you my attention. I promise you attention to detail. And I promise you access to whatever I don't have out here. I'm going to make you drive to California for 3 hours, if you can stand that, and get you in with the right people. That's what I would promise. I'm sorry, I think I'm out of time.
No, hold on a second. This is all really important. I know she's got a few slides left, but we have other people waiting to come on and do the panel. But what I will say is, people, please listen to what Dr. Amal's saying. Healthcare here is terrible. It needs to be improved, and I think what she says they're doing is incredible for Henderson and for the Las Vegas Valley. I will make the rest of her presentation available for everyone that's here today. And is it okay if I provide your contact information as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Amal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.